Greetings everyone, welcome to a new English session. Chapter 13. Topic: Style adjectives, relative pronouns. Let's start. Chapter 5. Followers of fashion. We're going to start today's class on page number 78. Vocabulary 1. Style adjectives. Use your dictionary to look up the meaning of each adjective in the box. Which can you use to describe the pictures? Let's start.
Unit 5. Followers of fashion. Track 42. Activity 2.
Casual, colorful, comfortable, conventional, fashionable, formal, glamorous, impractical, loose, old-fashioned, sporty, tight, trendy.
So, for example, we can use the word sporty to refer to the sneakers. The sneakers are very sporty. Now we're moving on to the second exercise. For example, on the first pictures we have wedge platform boots. We can use the following adjectives: impractical and tight. On the second picture there are a couple of sneakers. We can use the adjective sporty and comfortable. For picture number 3, with the Converse shoes, we can use the adjectives casual and comfortable. For picture number 4, where we can see typical Asian shoes, we can use the adjective old-fashioned. For picture number 5, for the slip-on shoes, we can use adjective fashionable. Picture 6, with the sandals, trendy and loose. And finally, to refer to the final picture, the stilettos, we can use the adjectives glamorous and colorful. Exercise number 3. Complete the sentences with words from the box. Option A. I don't like wearing boring black and brown clothes. I prefer colorful designs. Option B. Those plain leather shoes are very conventional. I prefer more unconventional designs. Option C. My dad isn't allowed to wear casual clothes at work. His office is very formal, so he wears a suit. Option D. My sister always follows the latest fashions. She never wears anything old-fashioned. Option E. This skirt is too loose. I need a smaller size. Exercise number 4. Choose the correct words. My aunt loves shoes. She has so many pairs, it's unbelievable. She buys new shoes every week. She goes to the gym every day, so she has lots of sneakers, which are all sporty. They are also very trendy because she always buys the latest designs by famous brands. Her favorite shoes are the high heels she wears on Saturday nights. They are really glamorous, but so impractical. I tried them on and I couldn't walk. Finally, she has her work shoes. She's a businesswoman, so she wears very formal shoes. She has to stand up a lot at work, so her shoes are comfortable. They can't be too tight. What does she do? She owns a shoe store, of course. Page 79, Reading 1. Exercise 1. Read the text quickly and choose the best title. Option A, A Short History of Shoes. Option B, Fashionable Feet. Option C, High heels are bad for you. Reading strategy. Notice how texts are structured to identify their gender. This helps you access previous knowledge about similar texts to predict the content and make the reading process more meaningful. Exercise 2. How is the information organized in the text above? Well, the correct option here is option B. It contains a headline, a lead, topics, and the language is relatively informal. Question number 3. What text's gender does it illustrate? Well, the option here is option A. A newspaper, magazine, blog article. Now we're moving on to exercise number 4. Read and listen to the text, then write T for true or F for false. Correct the false sentence.
Unit 5. Track 43. Activity 4.
Fashionable feet. Look at the people around you. Now, look at their feet. What type of shoes are they wearing? What do the shoes have in common? Color? Material? Design? The basic design of shoes has not changed much since they were first invented. Most shoes have a sole on the bottom, a heel at the back, and an upper, the piece of material that covers the foot. However, fashion designers have found many creative ways to make shoes look different. Let's start with heels. They can be low or incredibly high. In the 1950s, Italian designers created a glamorous new shoe, the stiletto, which has a very thin, pointed heel. Shoemakers around the world love the design, and stilettos are still popular today. The ultimate pair must be the 40.5 centimeter high stilettos produced by Lady Beware in the UK. Heels don't have to be thin to look different, though. One American designer has created huge heels filled with water and toy goldfish. Of course, Lady Gaga is famous for wearing the heelless shoes, made for her by Noritaka Tatahana of Tokyo. These shoes have a high sole but no heel, so they're very difficult to walk in. Shoe designers have also had creative ideas for soles. Platform boots became trendy in the 1970s when lots of glam rock bands such as Kiss began to wear them. Recently, shoe designer Christian Louboutin famously decided to paint the soles of all his shoes bright red to make them instantly recognizable and extremely glamorous. Soles can also be made to look unusual. What about a pair of grass flip-flops? The grass is real, and you have to water it. Finally, designers can make the uppers fashionable. Sports brand Nike has produced shoes that look like human feet. Then there are sneakers that look like melting ice cream. But if you want something really original, some websites allow you to design your own shoes. With all these creative fashion ideas for shoes, it's not surprising that people begin to collect them. Well-known shoe collectors include Madonna and Sarah Jessica Parker, but no one has a bigger shoe collection than the woman who owned around 3,000 pairs, Imelda Marcos, the wife of a former president of the Philippines. She had so many shoes that she even opened a shoe museum in Manila. Many of the shoes in the exhibitions have never even been worn. It would have taken her over 7 years to wear all her shoes.
Very good. So let's answer the sentences. Option A, it's true. Designers try to make shoes that are unusual. Option B is false. Stilettos have only recently become popular. Actually, stilettos became popular in the 1950s. Option C, it's true. Noritaka Tatehana makes shoes for Lady Gaga. Finally, option D is false. Nike makes shoes that look like human hands. Actually, Nike makes shoes that look like human feet. Exercise number 5. Scan the text and answer the questions. Option A. What is an upper? The piece of material that covers the foot. Option B. How high are the world's highest stilettos? They are 40.5 centimeters. Option C. Why are Toritaka Tatehana's shoes difficult to walk in? Because they have no heel. Option D. Where can you design your own shoes? On some websites. And option E. Why do people collect shoes? Because there are so many different styles. Page 80. Grammar 1. Relative pronouns. Exercise 1. Read the sentences below. Write if the words in bold refer to people, P, things, T, locations, L, or time, TI. Then write the words they refer to. For example, T. The stiletto in the 1950s. Italian designers created the stiletto, which has a very thin pointed heel. Option A. T. Shoes. Sport brands. Nike had produced shoes that look like human feet. Option B. B. The woman. No one has bigger shoe collection than the woman who owned around 3,000 pairs. Option C. L. The country. Italy. Italy is a country where fashion is a must. Option D. P. The girls. Trendsetters that wear heels shoes find them difficult to walk in. E. TI for time. In the 1970s, platform boots became trendy in the 1970s when rock bands began to wear them. Exercise number 2. Based on the rules below, complete the chart. Option A. Relative pronouns are used to connect sentences that refer to nouns, people, places, things mentioned previously. Option B. When we talk about people, we can use who or that. Option C. When we talk about things, we can use which or that. Option D. When we talk about places or locations, we use where. Option E. When we talk about time, we use when. Let's move on to the chart. Okay, for people. The woman who or that lives in that house owns a shoe store. For things. Chinese factories produce a lot of clothes which or that are sold in Europe. For time. An engineer invented the bikini in 1946 when Americans were testing atom bombs in the Bikini Atoll. Place. Milan is a city where many glamorous shoes are made. Exercise number 3. Choose the correct words. Noritaka Tatehana is the man who designs shoes for Lady Gaga. Option B. In the 1950s is when stiletto shoes became fashionable. Option C. The jacket which my brother bought were really expensive. Option D. She's the girl that I met at the party. Option E. Where's the scarf that I lent you last night? Option F. San Francisco is where my cousins live. Exercise number 4. Match the columns to make sentences. A. That's the store where I bought my suit. B. I'm the person who called you yesterday. C. New Year's was when I last saw him. D. Is that the dress that costs you $100? E. He is the man that emailed me last week. F. That's the dog which bit me. Exercise number 5. Complete the sentences with who, which, where, or when. Helico workshop, helico taller, helico workshop, helico taller. Exercise number 5, page 80, grammar 1. From exercise A to exercise E. Helico workshop, helico taller, exercise 5, page 80, grammar 1. Page 81. Tip. In informal language, we can omit which, who, or that when the pronoun refers to the object of the sentence. The shoes they are wearing have a basic design. Notice that the shoes are the object of the verb wear. In this case, we don't need to use that or which. Which, who, or that can never be omitted when they refer to the subject of a sentence. It was Lady Gaga who, or that, first wore heelless shoes. In this case, Lady Gaga is the subject of the verb wear, so who cannot be omitted. Whose is used to indicate possession. Boots, whose platform soles became trendy in the 1980s, can be seen in lots of different styles. Exercise number 6. Read the text about fashion or teens and underline the appropriate relative pronouns. X refers to omission of the pronoun. If your teen doesn't like the clothes that are perfect for them in your opinion, you are not alone. He or she is not the only adolescent who thinks you don't have a clue about fashion. Don't worry. As teens grow, fashion is one of the ways they use to express their feelings and show how they see the world. Teens who undergo a style change are just trying to express themselves. Exercise 7. Interface. Work in pairs, ask and answer the questions using relative pronouns. What's a food that you really don't like? What's the name of a person who makes you laugh? Listening part. A famous designer. Exercise 1. Look at the pictures. Who is the woman in the picture on the left? What is her job? Well, she is Stella McCartney, and she is a fashion designer. Exercise number 2. Listen to the first part of the interview and check your answers.
Unit 5, Track 44, Activity 2.
In today's show, I'm talking to fashion journalist Jane Russell, who is going to tell us about her favorite young designer. Hello, Jane.
Hi, Peter.
So, who are you going to tell us about, Jane?
Let's see if you can guess. She's in her 40s. She's designed clothes for pop singers and movie stars. She's the daughter of one of the most famous pop musicians of all time.
I think I know what you mean. Stella McCartney?
That's right. The daughter of Paul McCartney and his first wife, Linda, a famous photographer.
Unit 5, Track 44, Activity 2.
In today's show, I'm talking to fashion journalist Jane Russell, who is going to tell us about her favorite young designer. Hello, Jane.
Hi, Peter.
So, who are you going to tell us about, Jane?
Let's see if you can guess. She's in her 40s. She's designed clothes for pop singers and movie stars. She's the daughter of one of the most famous pop musicians of all time.
I think I know what you mean. Stella McCartney?
That's right. The daughter of Paul McCartney and his first wife, Linda, a famous photographer.
Very well. So we confirm our answer. She is Stella McCartney and she is a famous designer. Exercise number 3. Listen to the second part of the interview and answer the questions.
Unit 5, Track 45, Activity 3.
Okay, so I imagine Stella had a very glamorous childhood.
No, not at all. Stella's parents wanted their children to have a normal childhood. Stella, her 2 sisters, and her younger brother grew up on a small farm close to London. They didn't go to expensive private schools. They went to the local state school.
And how did she become interested in fashion?
Stella became interested in fashion when she was a teenager. She started designing and making clothes at home. When she left school, she studied fashion at the famous Central St. Martin's College of Art and Design in London. She held her first fashion show in 1995. Her friends, including supermodels Naomi Campbell and Kate Moss, wore her clothes at the show, and all the designs were bought by a store in London.
She's obviously very talented.
Yes, and she quickly became very successful. In 1997, she got a job as fashion director for the Paris fashion house, Chloe.
And does she still work for Chloe?
No, she left Chloe in 2001 to start her own business. There are now 5 Stella McCartney stores around the world.
And are any of her designs famous?
Yes, she designed Madonna's wedding dress in 2000. She also produced a cheaper line of clothing for the store H&M. The clothes were a big success.
She has received some criticism, though, hasn't she?
Well, yes. Some people have said that she's only been successful because of her famous father. It certainly helped her early career, because the media were interested in Paul McCartney's daughter. But most of Stella's success is thanks to her own talent and hard work.
So, what are her clothes like?
Oh, there's quite a variety. Some are glamorous, some are quite traditional. But there is one thing the designs have in common. Stella doesn't believe in animal cruelty, and none of her designs use leather or fur.
Well, thank you, Jane. Now, let's move on to New York Fashion Week.
Okay guys, so let's answer the questions. The first one, where did she grow up? It's option 2, near London. Question B, what sort of school did she go to? She went to the local state school, so option 2. And option C, when did she become interested in fashion? Well, option 1, as a teenager. We're moving on to the rest of the exercise. And from exercises D to exercise H is going to be your ELICA homework of the week. So page 81, listening part, unit 5, exercise number 3 is your ELICA homework, ELICA homework from exercise D to exercise H. Answer the questions and choose the correct option. So guys, we have just finished. We're going to wrap it up out for now, and we will meet next time for our next class. So take care a lot and see you next time.